Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 17. Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notyartham aham sachamama priyaham. Tesham, out of them, Jnani, one in full knowledge, Nitya Yuktaha, always engaged, Eka, only, Bhakti, in devotional service, Vishishyate, is special, Priyaha, very dear, He, certainly, Jnaninaha, to the person in knowledge, Atyartham, highly, Aham, I am, Saha, he, Cha, also, Mama, to me, Priyaha, dear. Those who are doing that service, they can, because it will be very difficult for you to turn so much, your neck will hurt. If you can maybe get two of those papers, and you can face the screen, face the speaker. And it's not good to turn the back to the speaker like that. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda Ki Jai. Translation of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Please repeat, of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Of these means of who? Huh? Of Krishna. Of these. Of devotees? Huh? So let's. Among the pious people, among the Sukritina. You see the verse before this. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukritinarjuna arto jignyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. Begin. One who enter into bhakti, they are of these 4 types, either of these 4 or a mixture of these 4. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. And actually, inquisitive and he who is searching for the knowledge sounds like the same, but actually the Sanskrit words are Jignasu and Jnani. Jnani is a person supposed to be in knowledge, who is already in knowledge. But knowledge of the Absolute Truth is progressive. So, the Absolute Truth is understood in 3 phases, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. The first stage of understanding the Absolute Truth, the beginning stage, is impersonal aspect. To understand, to acknowledge that there is some superior power that is controlling everything, but not very thorough or detailed understanding, just an impersonal conception. And the Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual effulgence beyond the covering of the material universe, is sometimes considered by some of the practitioners of transcendental realization as the Supreme. But they do not care to inquire where is the light coming from. There is a light, there is a vast light in which these universes, our universe is one of them. So these universes are scattered in space, actually on the causal ocean. That's a whole different topic. But the Brahma Jyoti is fully covering the entire spiritual sky. Only a corner of the sky, like a cloud, is the dark portion, and that is this material world. The entire spiritual world is the vast open sky, and in that there are millions of Vaikuntha planets. So in a corner or in a small area, just like in the whole sky, a small portion only is occupied by the cloud. Sometimes the cloud appears to be covering the entire sky, but actually it is only covering our vision of the sky. It cannot cover the entire sky, because if you go above the clouds, the sky is so vast, the space is so vast, the cloud cannot cover. But it may appear to us like that. Actually, it only covers our eyes. So this material world, which comprises millions and trillions, innumerable universes, is just like one small cloud in the spiritual sky. So in that spiritual sky, there is unlimited effulgence. It is called Brahma Jyoti. And because this material universe is like a tightly packed shell, so inside everything is dark. Like now there is light, but if you bring a coconut here, inside the coconut is dark, or inside the womb of a mother is dark. So like that, sometimes this universe is considered like a womb. That's why it's called Garbha. Garbha means which is very, very dark. And it is a tightly packed thing. So you know that Vishnu, from whose navel lotus flower sprouts and Brahma takes birth, he is called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Garbha means this universe, dark universe, and then Udaka means water. So half of the universe is filled actually with water. So that is from the perspiration of the Lord, and he lies down in that water, that ocean. Shayi means Shayanam. Shayanam means to sleep, and Shayi means one who is lying down or sleeping. But his sleeping is not like our sleeping. When we sleep, we forget, we are in complete ignorance. But his is called not Nidra, but Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra, he is fully conscious. His sleeping and his awakened state are both the same. There is no difference. So anyway, because he is in the ocean of the Garbha, that's why Garbhodakashayi. So this is like Garbha. And in this, there is requirement of sun to light up this universe. There is requirement of these luminaries. But actually, in the spiritual sky, there is no need. Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Krishna says, in the spiritual world, there is no sun, moon, or electricity, fire to light up. There is no need, because every single Vaikuntha planet is self-effulgent, and the entire effulgence is coming from the body of Krishna. So that light is the bodily rays of Krishna. Now, when light is so bright, sometimes when some bright light is shining on you, it's so glaring that you can't even see the source where it is coming from, right? So the Brahma Jyoti, for those who are beginning in their practicing of transcendental life, such people can only realize the light. They cannot understand what is the source of this light. So they consider that the light is everything. Light comes from a source. Now this room is full of light. That's not everything. There is a source of the light. So similarly, the source is there, and that is the Bhagavan. But in the beginning, there is only Brahman realization. So a person, so that is also absolute truth. Now this light, just take for example the sun. Sunshine, the sun planet and the sun god, the president of the sun planet. All of them are effulgent, full of light. In the sun planet, all the bodies are made of fire predominantly. Whereas on the earthly planet, we have earthly bodies which will mix into the earth after it's dead. But it's not that every single planet has bodies similar to us, which is why the scientists cannot find any life on any other planet. They're questioning, where is life? Where is life other than on earth? This is their foolishness, but from Bhagavad Gita we understand, Nitya Sarvagata Sthanor. Every planet is congested with life. Congested is the word. Not that Mars has no life, no, full of life. Even moon. The scientists, they cannot understand, they actually cannot see anything. They are so proud of their eyes. Our eyes can only see in very, very limited conditions. And just like we cannot live in the water, does not mean nobody can live in the water. Similarly, if we cannot live somewhere, it does not mean nobody can live. So you just need a body suitable to live there, that's all. So similarly, in the fiery planet of the sun, the bodies have to be fiery, that's all. So the sun god is very, very effulgent. His name is also given in the Bhagavad Gita, Vivaswan. Just like Prime Minister is here and then his name is Mr. Lee Hsien Loong. So, similarly, there is a name for the sun god and his name is Vivaswan currently. That is also given. So, all are full of light, but to only understand the sunshine, that is not very, there is also understanding of the sun but not full. Like insects, for example. There are many insects which only realize sunshine. They can feel the heat and they can feel the light, but they don't know that there is a thing called the sun in the sky. They don't even know that. Now, as the life forms are more and more superior, like animals, even plants, they know, like sunflower, it turns towards the sun. It at least understands that there is a sun, and which is the source of that light. So, even any tree, it will grow towards the sun. If there is a dark portion and there is a wall and then there is a sunlight here, it will grow like that. How does it know? He can sense where is the sun. In fact, trees can see. It's just that their seeing is different from our seeing, that's all. So that's why when there is suppose there is a obstruction in their growth, they will just grow around it. How do they know? Why don't they bang into that and then they know something there and they grow around it. It's just that their seeing is different from our seeing. We see with eyes, they see differently, that's all. So, we always try to discredit. We don't understand, we judge everything like how we experience everything. So that's not a fact, that's not how everything works. I don't know whether the sound is even catching. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I hope it is. Yeah. So anyway, the beginner practitioner, he may also be called Jnani. So let's see. So that light is called Brahma Jyoti. And there is this description of the supreme absolute truth. Just like to understand the sun, there are three stages. One is the sunlight, then there is the sun globe. And we can see the sun globe, but we don't really know how far it is, how hot it is from our perception. When we actually go on the sun planet, there is huge noise. The live stream would have been horrible by now, until now. Just atrocious. So in the live stream, because this is streamed on Facebook, so these sounds are very disturbing. It's too much sound. So anyway, Vadanti Tattvavit Tattvam Yajnanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. So when we go to the sun planet, we can see the sun god, the president of the sun planet, and the entire city. The entire planet, if it's civilization, everything. So similarly, God can be understood in three phases. So that is explained here. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan according to the level of their realization. The other example is given like the mountain. From afar we see it as some outline, almost like a cloud. As we draw closer, then we will see some features. Maybe here this part is rocky, there is a waterfall, there is some greenery, and something like that. Then when we actually go on the mountain, then we can see the full variety, the animals, the insects, the flora and the fauna and everything. So that is complete understanding of that mountain. And if we dig, maybe we can get some kind of minerals or whatever it is. So that is complete understanding of that mountain. So similarly, it is only how far or how close we are to the truth. So similarly, the absolute truth from afar only appears as the light. And if we understand the next stage is called Paramatma, Brahman and Paramatma. Paramatma means the localized aspect. He is localized presence in every single body along with the living entity, the soul. So in our body there are two souls. Apart from all the insects and worms that are in our stomach or whatever, we're talking about the one running this body. The individual soul and the super soul, Jivatma and Paramatma, Anuatma and Vibhuatma. So that Paramatma is the second stage of understanding, that he is a person, but still there is no reciprocation with the person yet. Because a person has feelings, he has likes, he has dislikes, he has activities, he has attributes, so many things, but as Paramatma, he is just passively witnessing and sanctioning from the background. But to actually deal with the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a person in loving relationship, that realization is called Bhagavan. When one understands that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person, is a Supreme Person. That's why Prabhupada, he translated Bhagavan as not just God, because it's very vague. What is God? Oh, God of rain, God of what? Wind. So these are all demigods, you see. So nowadays, even on games also there is God level. So what is God? So it's very vague. Oh, I am also God level. Well, what is actually God? We don't know his level, but we are thinking we are on God's level. This is our problem. So God, so Prabhupada was very, very clear. Supreme, first of all. Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the complete phrase he used for Bhagavan. Supreme. First of all, he is supreme. He is a person, first of all. Personality of Godhead. So he is a person, first of all. But person like you and me? No, supreme. Supreme person. Okay. So is he like a god, one of the gods? No, Godhead. Head of all gods. Even if one says, I am God, he is the head of gods. So there is no ambiguity in that phrase. Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not just the Supreme, some power, universe. These are vague terms. When one does not understand, he uses these terms. This is a very rudimentary understanding of the Absolute Truth, but not a very advanced understanding. But people think that is more superior to a personal understanding, because they think if he is a person, then you are limiting him to a dimension, to a height, to a weight, to 2 eyes, to one mouth. What is this? What is this? This is limited. He has 2 eyes and everything. He should be having eyes everywhere. Yeah, sarvatra panipadam tat sarvatoksha siromukham sarvata shrutimal loke sarvam avritta tishtati. He has eyes everywhere. The uniqueness of Krishna is that he can seemingly be limited, but he can see everything. He can hear everything. His every part of the body can do the activity of any other part. With legs he can see. With his hand, with his nose, he can eat. He can do anything. There is no limitation. It is our misconception that we think that if he has a form, he is limited now. Whereas if he does not have a form, he is just expanded everywhere, and that is unlimited. But no. That unlimited existence comes from a person. That influence comes from a person. And he is everywhere at the same time. While he is outside, he is also inside. Antar Bahir Avasthitam. Bahir Narsimha, Hridaya Narsimha. We chant every time. Every Narsimha song. He is everywhere. That's why when Hiranyakashipu asked, is he in this pillar? Prahlad said, yes, he is in this pillar. He broke the pillar, the Lord came out. Not to answer the challenge of Hiranyakashipu, but because Prahlad said so. Otherwise, if he just struck the pillar, he would not have come out. Because Prahlad said, yes, he is there. So to answer Prahlad's word, he came out. Not because of Hiranyakashipu's challenge. He does not answer to our challenge. The more we challenge him, saying that, show me God, I will believe. Oh really? I won't show myself. Why I should show myself? Krishna also has his prerogative. No? He is not just some waiter in the restaurant. Hey, come here. That means he will come. Yes, sir. With a notebook and pad. What do you want, sir? He does not care. You go, get lost. If you want to challenge, nobody can challenge me like I can. Krishna, nobody can challenge him. If you want to cheat him, like Hiranyakashipu want to cheat death, wanted to cheat the power of God. Okay, you can try. Nobody can be a better cheater than myself. Krishna is showing. So that is Krishna. So by challenge we cannot win him. But with love we can win him. That is Krishna. So anyway, the person who has at least touched the transcendence, whether it's in Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan stage, he is called a Jnani. Because at least he is out of the illusion of materialistic life. He is at least out of that misconception that I can be happy here in this material world. He is out of that illusion. So at least for that reason he is called Jnani. So coming back all the way, you see 7:16, these four kinds of pious people. He who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute, Jnani. Here actually it is mentioned one who knows things as they are, but in the translation it is one who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. If he is Jnani, if he knows the things as they are, then why he is only Sukritina? He should be Mahatma, right? Right? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He knows. Jnanavan. Jnani and Jnanavan same. Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Who knows that? He is actually Jnani. Complete Jnani. But he, here, Sukritina, that kind of Jnani is just who has touched the real knowledge of the Absolute Truth, but who may not have understood the Paramatma and the Bhagavan stage. Or even if he is in Paramatma, he has not touched Bhagavan yet. So such people, when they are introduced to devotional service, they may become devotees, if they are fortunate. So therefore, he is still counted among Sukritina, this Jnani. So among these four, that's why today's verse, if you see, of these, what is it of these? I have only explained the first two words of today's translation. I haven't even gone to the purport. You see? Of these four, above mentioned four, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. So one who is Brahman realized, he is also Jnani, and even a neophyte devotee. Neophyte means a beginner, a novice in devotional service, who has maybe accepted now, okay, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, like we all have, at least, I hope so. So we have at least accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you have not, then please read Bhagavad Gita. But for those who have, so we are in the Bhagavan stage of understanding, but we are not very advanced yet. We are beginning. We are just trying to advance in that respect. Even Bhagavan stage also, there is so much Because Bhagavan's stage of realization starts with Ado Shraddha. That is the beginning stage of even Bhagavan realization. To have faith that this Krishna consciousness or Krishna is Bhagavan and I am his servant, to have that faith. Okay, yes. Let me go further. What is the next stage? Tato Sadhu Sangha, to associate with devotees. And then Bhajana Kriya, to engage in service, Seva. Seva means not every part of our body, not only hands. Yes, Prabhu, I'll come for some Seva. Your hands are working fine, legs are working fine. Mouth also must work. So chanting is also Seva. And eating is also Seva. Prabhu, yes, Prabhu, I like this Seva. Some people like this Seva. Actually, many people come to Krishna temple for this Seva only. The temple prasadam is nice. They don't have Gopuram, but prasadam is there. Very nice. So sometimes they say like that. So, that is also actually Seva, Prasad Sevaya. Because to eat the remnants of Krishna's food, that is also Seva. To eat everything myself without offering to Krishna, that is actually sinful. Even vegetarian. Sometimes people are proud. I am pure vegetarian, Prabhu. According to Bhagavad Gita, you are pure rascal. Because we are not eating prasadam. Krishna says, Yajna Sishtashana Santo Muchyante Sarvakil Vishai Bhunjate Te Tvagam Papa Ye Pachante Atma Karanat. Chapter 3, text 13. Whoever eats food, even if it is vegetarian, if it is not offered to Krishna, he is eating sin. So to offer to Krishna, the cook must be a devotee. Not that I go to vegetarian restaurant, yes Prabhu, okay, good, I understood. Go to vegetarian restaurant, order nicely and offer there. That we cannot do. We cannot offer whatever is cooked by non-devotees. Krishna does not accept. So we have to become devotee, we have to cook and offer and then eat. Anyway, we are cooking and eating. Just offer it to Krishna before eating and then eat. That's prasadam. Just a simple tweak only. The whole consciousness will change. It's not for my enjoyment, it's for his enjoyment. And then I will. So, every part of our body like that should be used for Krishna's service. Bhajana Kriya. Then anartha nivritti syat. All the dirty things in the heart will slowly be vanquished. Our heart will be cleansed. What are the dirty things in my heart? Nothing, Prabhu. I did angiogram and I did not see any blockage. There's nothing dirty in my heart, all clean. No, in the subtle heart, there's so much kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara, so many things are there, dirty things. Lust, anger, greed, envy. These things have to go. And they will go automatically if we serve Krishna. If we try to become a moralist without Krishna consciousness, we cannot. Because by definition, we are thief. Stena eva. Because if I am suppose very morally upright with other human beings, but maybe I am not so morally upright with the animals, I am killing them, maybe. Or even if I am vegetarian, say, I think I am the doer. But if I don't accept the fact that everything belongs to Krishna, God. Krishna says everything belongs to me. He can claim ownership and he has shown the Vishwarup. The entire universe he is owning. He is the owner. So he is not just claiming just out of his pride. No, when he says I am the supreme, that is not ahankar. That is not pride. That is a fact. When we say I am the supreme, that is ahankar. That is pride. Excessive, vanity. So he is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is fact. So when we have all these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, that means we are wanting to be the controller. And if somebody is a competitor of my enjoyment, he is interfering with my enjoyment, I will become envious of him. And I want to be the overlord, I want to be the best. Greed. Anger. If I get frustrated in my atoms, I will get angry. And I will have a whole lot of desires to fulfill. So these are all our dirty things. And why dirty, Prabhu? Why? What is wrong? What is wrong? We should have dream, we should have goal in life. We should be motivated, otherwise we'll be just lazy fellows. Motive, yes, our motive should be to serve Krishna to the best possible way. Because even if we achieve whatever we want to achieve, everything will be taken away at the end of life. No? And then next life, if I become a pig, today I am Elon Musk and to next life I am pig, then what is the value in such an achievement? So we don't realize these things, that life is actually eternal. We think there's one life, live it. No, there's one life, live it. YOLO. YOLO. You only live once. So this atheistic understanding that you only live once, actually we only live once because the soul never dies. The body keeps on changing. In that way you live once. But they think this body, with the end of body, is the end of our existence. Not at all. Not at all. There's enough proof of this. That's another subject for another time. But you see, so these dirty things have to go. These dirty things are there, kama, krodha, lobha, because we are in avidya. We are in ignorance. We don't have knowledge actually of who we are. Our desires are based on our convictions about life. What we think is right in life. According to that, our desires, our aspirations, our goal, everything is set, right? So our convictions, if they're based on ignorance, then we will all have wrong desires, wrong motives. So those are dirty things. So how to cleanse? We have to illuminate our heart with knowledge. Then we will understand, I am actually not part of this world. Actually, I am not an Indian, I am not a man, I am not a woman, I am not Japanese or Chinese, I am not this body. The body may be Indian, but I am not the body, so I am not Indian. Why am I so patriotic to my country? That is ignorance. How can you say? Freedom fighters, they fought so hard. Yes, according to Bhagavatam, go khara. They are as good as animals. Where is the freedom? Unless one comes out of the clutches of Maya, where is the freedom? So what if this government or that government? We are always under. In fact, we ourselves voluntarily vote for a leader. We want to be under control. You want anarchy? You want a country without a government? Nobody wants. We want leadership. We want to be under control. That is our nature. So, that is not freedom. Real freedom means that we are no more like Narad Muni. He is also under control of Krishna. Yes, he is a devotee. But by being controlled by Krishna, one will become actually free. You know what is our real imprisonment? Our own desires. You see, there is this nice verse by Lord Brahma. तावद्रागादयः स्तेनास्तावत् कारागृहं गृहं तावन्मोहोङ्घ्रि निगडो यावत् कृष्णनते जनाः. Karagraham means, you know what? Yes, prison. Griham, we say home sweet home. That griham actually is Karagraham. You see, Brahma says to Krishna, my dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desires remain thieves. Their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remain foot shackles. This is actually a very stark, naked truth. Actually, nobody wants to be imprisoned, right? But because of the influence of Maya, illusion, we want to be imprisoned. If somebody is coming to get us out of the imprisonment, we shout at the person, hey, why are you coming to, why are you asking me to become sannyasi? Who are you? They fear, they shudder at this thought of moving away from family life. This is the prison of material existence. There is no need of any bars. Because a prison needs bars because the guy wants to go out. You want to lock him in. But Krishna's prison does not have any bars. You yourself will stay. Even somebody is pulling you out, no, get lost. I want to stay here. So that kind of Karagraham. And that is because of ignorance. When a person is haunted by a ghost, he wants to do the wrong thing. He wants to do something which is dangerous to himself and others. And he thinks he is right. Mad fellow. Haunted. So, he is imprisoned in his own body because of the ghost. So similarly, the ghost of Maya is imprisoning us. And it has taken strategic positions. Mind, intelligence, senses. Completely. We are completely under the trap. So these anartha, these unwanted things, these things which are keeping us here, this has to be nivritti. We have to give these up. And that will happen when we are enlightened with knowledge, when we understand actually who we are, when we become awakened to the fact that actually I don't belong here, I belong to Krishna. I am an eternal servant of Krishna. I am not a servant of my country, I am not a servant of my family, not a servant of my body or senses or my boss or my customer, but I am a servant of Krishna. When we understand that, that is the beginning of liberation. So this anartha nivritti has to happen. And then tato nishtha, then we become fixed in this path. This is all the stages within Bhagavan realization. He is still a jnani even if he is in the beginning stage. But you see how many stages. So nishtha, tato ruchi, then you will get the taste. He cannot give it up. He cannot give up Krishna consciousness and forget it. Never mind, I'll just try something else. You can't. Once you come, you cannot go away from this. Even if one falls away, that taste will remain and it will bring him back one day. And even if this whole life he is gone, Krishna will not let him go. Next life he will start back from where he left off. So, but when we become fixed that we can't give up Krishna consciousness, that is ruchi, when one has taste. And that means he has no other taste in anything else. If one has taste for Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, he will not have taste for any other book. He will lose his taste. Everything else seems trivial. Very trivial. Then tatha asakti, spontaneous attachment for Krishna then. This is more intensified feeling for Krishna. Spontaneous attachment. Nobody needs to goad him. Hey, wake up. Sweep the floor. Chant Hare Krishna. Have you chanted or not? How come only you chanted 10 rounds? Chant 6 more rounds. These things are not needed for such a person. He can't sleep without chanting. He can't eat without chanting. Like this. So, asakti. Then bhava. Even more concentrated asakti. And finally prema. Love of God. That is the highest stage. Love of God. In this world, the so-called love is all lust. That is not love. Lust. Only our own happiness. Desiring our own sense gratification. Actually, it's not happiness. It's sense gratification. Gratifying the senses. But actually, we think gratifying our senses will give us happiness. But actually, no. We will become bored after that. And become frustrated, actually. It does not give us lasting happiness. So, anyone who understands that this materialistic life is not worth any attention, we have to rise above this and realize the spiritual absolute truth. That he is jnani, and especially Bhagavan realization, that is also jnani, highest. And when he is a pure devotee, he is completely in knowledge. And when he is a neophyte devotee, although Bhagavan, but still he is only rising still to the higher stage. So therefore, today's verse says like this. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Purport. free from all contaminations. See why I spent so much time in the translation itself, because otherwise there is no context. What are we talking about? Of these, of what? What are we talking about? So we have to know what we are reading actually. So purport, free from all contaminations of material desires, the distressed, the inquisitive, the penniless and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. But out of them, he who is in knowledge of the absolute truth and free from all material desires becomes a really pure devotee of the Lord. And of the four orders, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engaged in devotional service is, the Lord says, the best. By searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from his material body, and when further advanced, he comes to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. When one is fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to be the eternal servant of God. So, by association with pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker after material amelioration, and the man in knowledge all become themselves pure. But in the preparatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to the Lord. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. So therefore, we may be pious to have come into this movement, but what will make us advanced? Jnana. Why Krishna says, of all these, the Jnani is the most dear to me? Because Jnana, especially not just any Jnana, not this school knowledge, this degree, that kind of Jnana, we are not talking about that. We are talking about Krishna consciousness. And that's why we have books. Why do we have books? So that we understand, we get convinced. Because whatever we intake knowledge, we get convinced by that. If all my friends, even if I am so-called chanting and all that, if my colleagues and everybody is talking about how to make more money, I'll become convinced, yes, that is, I have to make more, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. This is the mentality. I will become convinced in that direction. Or if I watch movies, I'll become convinced that yes, this is how to enjoy myself. And whatever is the subject matter of that movie, we'll become, influenced by that, and we'll discuss that with others. Like recently there was this Kashmir Files. So it sparked a huge debate in India. So we become engrossed in these topics. Sometimes some sports, something excellent happens, and we discuss that. Some sportsmanship, or some crime happened. Suddenly we are there. We are discussing that. Nirnam santi sahasrasha shrota vyadi nirajendra. There are millions of topics like this to distract us. Sometimes it is some COVID epidemic. Every day bombarding with the news. And then otherwise there is some war. Otherwise there is some crime. Otherwise there is some sports. Otherwise there is some politics, elections. This just goes on. Or some movies, entertainment. There is no dearth of topics. And all of these distract us. What they do actually? They rob away our lifetime. When one topic becomes, okay, 2 months here, enough. Or, COVID 2 years, come on, open up, what is this? Finish, right? Then another thing comes. War. So in this way, there is always something to distract us. Taking away our lifetime. Chipping away on our lifetime, bit by bit, but day by day, second by second. Imperceptibly. Keeping us away from learning this jnana, knowledge, which we actually have to do. So it doesn't matter whatever is the situation of the world, whatever is the situation of our family, whatever situation of our health, whatever it is. Jivane, marane, gati, or nahu more. Radha Krishna Prana Mor Jugala Kishore. Whether I am alive or whether I am dying, we have to always think of Krishna. Through happiness and through distress, we will be distracted. These are all distractions. So-called material success is a distraction. So-called material failure is a distraction. Gain is a distraction, loss is a distraction. Praise is a distraction, insult is a distraction. These are all superfluous. They are completely nothing to do with our existence. In all cases, we have to remain focused on our real thing, that is Krishna consciousness. Misery or happiness, cold or hot, wind or rain, we have to think of always Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness movement. So to mold our life. So for that, how convinced we must be that we are unshaken. Gurunapi vicharyate. Gurunapi vicharyate. Even in the worst storm, we will never forget Krishna. That is called samadhi. Samadhi means not simply like sitting like this and then in some meditation somewhere. No, samadhi means while we are talking, while we are eating, while we are sleeping, while we are doing anything, we have to think of Krishna. Why it has to be, limited to a pose? When we are not in that pose, now I am not in samadhi. No, samadhi is a continuous state of being. Never forgetting Krishna. Always remember Krishna. Smartavya satatam Vishnur, vismartavya na jatu chit. That is samadhi. And don't forget Krishna at any time means what? Anything that life throws at us, still we have to remember Krishna. For that, how can that happen? How can that happen? Only with love. Priti Purvakam. When a dangerous situation happens, what happens? What we think of? Somebody whom we love. Right? So if our love can be on Krishna, we'll remember him. But how can we love Krishna? To love someone, you have to know that person well enough. And you have to trust that person. But if you don't even know him, how can we trust him? No, like in the American dollar bill, in God we trust. In God we trust. Whatever they do is everything against God. Whole country, the whole propaganda is against God. In God, how can we trust God when we don't know him? How can I trust someone who I don't know? Will I say, suppose I am somewhere outside and I have to go to the toilet, and I will say, maybe I am carrying something. I call a stranger, can you just hold this for me? I don't know whether he is a thief or not, who knows? Why I will give my wallet to him? Huh? I will always give to someone who I know and trust, right? Natural. So how can we trust God when we don't even know him? People think, they think it is some sentiment, oh yeah, God is there. But how can we trust him? How can our faith strengthen? Only when we know him. To know, how can we know him then? We cannot know him with our, I will speculate something. No. Krishna tells about himself. Just like if you want to know about me, you have to ask me, then I will tell. If I am truthful, you will know about me. If I am lying, that's another thing. But Krishna does not lie. So he is telling about himself in Bhagavad Gita. And people who have seen him, devotees, they are also explaining about him. They are glorifying him. From that we can understand who he is, how he is existing. That's why this Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. If we don't read these books every day, then we will forget whatever we have learned also. Now today you are hearing, tomorrow you will forget. And go out of this door, I have to get ready for the assignment for my boss tomorrow, I have to show him presentation. Finish. Our thoughts are already gone somewhere. And with that, it is the beginning of the end. And again another week, another Sunday we need to rejuvenate ourselves, recharge ourselves. No, it should not be like that. Yeah, we are engrossed in this work, but we have to regularly, that's why every day we have to remind ourselves. It's not that, I know this, roughly I know the philosophy. Sometimes, devotees, when they come to a certain understanding, in the beginning they're very inquisitive, and they read. After some time they're like, okay, I kind of get the whole thing, I understand. It's okay. I have a good idea of what Krishna consciousness is. And they stop. Stop after that. Never to read the book, never to open the book again for decades. Dangerous. Because even if we know, did we really realize second chapter of Bhagavad Gita even? We are not the body. We did not realize. We have heard it many times. Same thing, what to do, same thing. Yeah, what is that? Did we realize? No. And actually, it does not appear or it does not feel stale if we actually, with full faith, we read every day. It won't appear stale. Even if you read many, many times, you will find newer and newer things. And in this way, we have to deepen our understanding of these books and engage ourselves accordingly. Not that reading is one thing and our doing is something else. Nothing to do with our reading. No. And we have to refine our service. Yeah, we are doing everyday service. If those who are doing, those who are service, those who are devotees, chanting or any service, it's not that we have attained perfection in the service. We can improve, right? We can refine always. So every time we can be a little more involved, with more understanding, more. So this will happen when we read. So whatever we are doing in our service, we have to complement with reading. Then only we will advance. That's why among the four Sukritina, the Jnani is the one who is very dear to Krishna. So if we, see, who is a neophyte? अर्चायामेव हरये पूजाम्यः श्रद्धये हते न तद्भक्तेषु चान्येषु सबक्तः प्राकृतः स्मृतः. A Prakrita Bhakta or materialistic devotee, that means he is third class devotee, he still has materialistic desires and a little bit of Krishna consciousness, does not purposefully study the Shastra. This is the problem with the neophyte devotee. He does not read the Shastra, he does not study. All Hindus, they are this category. If they have any religiosity at all, this category. They don't study the Shastra. What is it? Bhagavad Gita, everything, Mahabharata, Ramayana. What is there inside? Nobody knows. They know about Mahabharata and Ramayana only from the serial. And the serial fellow, he is putting masala inside. We thinking that masala is, that real Ramayana or Mahabharata. Nowadays there are cartoons for children. Chota Bhim. Tridev. What is that? Hanuman, Krishna, Bhima. Ganesh. Hanuman, Krishna, Ganesh, kids playing. What nonsense. You change one word of Quran, what will happen to you? We are changing everything in our books. Nothing. And we are saying, oh, this is. And the other day, small girl, Narayan, she was telling that, Bhima did this. Then Prabhu asked, how do you know? The Chota Bhim they showed. And now, whatever I learned in my life at that age, 4, 5, 6, 7, those have remained very, very long. It took a lot of effort to undo some of the misconceptions I had at those. I started at that age. Now you may say, this is a kid, it's okay, I've grown up. But actually, those things will stay in memory for very, very long. Whatever we learn in that age, formative years. So if we teach the wrong thing, what will happen? You see? So this is what is happening. So somebody is doing some serial and I am watching that, and they say this is a story. Everybody has different versions of the story. I many times explained this. The Ramayana, there is a new serial, Siyakaram. Siyakaram. In that, the effects and all are very nice. The cast and crew are also very chiseled and very good, built and everything like that. Story complete bogus. Ram, he touches with his foot, Ahalya, in the form of a stone. She is cursed to become a stone. So Ram touches her with his foot, and she regains her form. Right? In this one, some feminist was there in the director, I think was a feminist. So Ram went and touched the feet of Ahalya. Bhagwan, he went and touched the feet of Ahalya. You are the mother. Sounds better, right? But touching with his feet is disrespect. Krishna touching with his feet, Ram touching with his feet, disrespect. Huh? His lotus feet are whose shelter we are seeking. And if he has given his shelter with his foot, it is disrespect. Yeah, if I kick someone, yes, that is disrespect. If Krishna kicks, it is not disrespect. Nityananda Prabhu kicked Shivananda Sena. Shivananda Sena said, Shivananda Sena fell. Devotee, this is in the Chaitanya Leela. Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balaram himself. So he kicked Shivananda Sena for some offense. So what? Shivananda Sena fell down. He flew and fell down. Then he got up and started dancing. My life has become successful. Even though I have offended the Lord, He has placed His foot on my chest. Brahma is craving for that position of having the dust of Nityananda Prabhu's feet on his helmet. I got it on my chest. My life has become successful. And here, Ram is not touching with his foot, he is touching the feet of Ahalya. So this is all very, very sacrilegious. So anyway, a Prakrita Bhakta or materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastra. So even if when we become actually devotee, like chanting and everything, if we don't read the Shastra, we will remain a third class. We will not care to follow the instructions of the Guru strictly. And try to, so Prakrita Bhakta or materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. He is satisfied with whatever substandard he is at. He does not think of climbing higher than that. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He does not show. He may, however, follow the regulative principles learned from his spiritual master or from his family who worships the deity. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is a Bhakta Praya, a neophyte devotee, or Bhakta Abhasa, for he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. Not much. So we have to rise above this, and to come to second class platform, we have to have jnana. And that is what will make us dear to Krishna. Krishna says, he is a jnani, is dear to me, and I am dear to him. And Krishna will also become dear to us. Krishna will become dear to us. Now we are chanting, we are doing service just as like a burden. When will this chanting finish? So that I can do something which I like. So we are waiting to let go of Krishna. When I can finish. Offensive chanting. Offensive. So our seva also, we have not dedicated, not attentive, not wholeheartedly doing it just for some, So we cannot be like this. If you want to go back to Vaikuntha, if you are at all interested, if you are not interested, I am not telling you, who are interested in going back to Vaikuntha, there we will not be allowed. We want to be allowed or not. The bottom line is that if this attitude of mine of taking it easy, taking it a little relaxed, or not caring so much about the books and just, yeah, Prabhu, how are you? Hare Krishna. 50 years later, Prabhu, how are you? Hare Krishna. Nothing changed. If I want to remain like this, then I'll just have to take more births. Bahunam Janmanam Anti Jnanavan. I want to become Jnanavan now or Jnanavan after Bahunam Janmanam, then up to me. So we have to make effort in this life now. To read. And it was very interesting why we don't read. We should. So that's why we recommend everybody to please take a study of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's books very seriously. Very, very seriously. Every day. Prabhu, I don't have time. 15 minutes you have. If you don't have, skip one meal and read in that time. One meal you skip, nothing will happen. It's better for you. Intermittent fasting. So, and then we can read. We must make time. We cannot say no time. No matter what we are doing. Marane raneva. Even if you are dying, even if you are on the battlefield, still you have to do this. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic? No comments on the live stream.
Since you said that having a food outside, which is cooked by a non-devotee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eating those food cooked by a non-devotee,
Yeah.
sin and not acceptable.
Yes.
As a devotee, I realize within him, Paramatma is there, and by the mercy of the God, all the food on my table, which is vegetable, grain, all I'm having it by the mercy of Lord Krishna. And I'm offering that food to God before I eat. Will that be wrong?
Yes. Because every Paramatma is there even in the tiger, although he is eating meat. But the thing is, what is my consciousness? Am I devoted to Krishna when I am cooking? What is my motive in the cooking? I have to cook with the bhava. See, Krishna does not actually accept our grains. He does not need our grains. He is hungry? No, he is not. Bhakti upahritam ashnami. Yome bhaktya prayachati. So he is asking for the devotion. Bhavagrahi Janardan. Janardan, Krishna, is Bhavagrahi. He is not Pushpagrahi, he is not Toyagrahi, he is not Phalagrahi. Bhavagrahi. So he accepts the devotion. So if the cook, the person who is preparing, his consciousness should be that I am offering it to Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. And when we are cooking for Krishna, there are rules. We have to be in a clean state, we have to take shower and come, and then we cannot taste it while cooking. There are so many things. So that mood is not there in that non-devotee. So it is just like everything is coming from Krishna, but it has to be offered with devotion back to Krishna. We are not offering to him something which he does not have. It is coming from him. So why does he need it? Why do we need to offer it? Why is it a waste of time, right? He can take it himself. No, it is the devotion. So then it becomes prasadam. Yes, Paramatma is in his heart, but that person is completely ignorant of that fact. So what is his realization? What is his status of devotion? That is what matters. So he in his conduct has to be a devotee. And a devotee means not somebody who just has a favorable feeling towards Krishna. Not just that. That may be a beginning of a devotee. But a devotee means one who has devoted. Just like an employee means one who is employed by the company. So a devotee means one who is devoted to Krishna. That means, what is the meaning of devotion? You devote your entire being. Tanuvak manobhir. By words, mind and body. By our actions, by our words, by our deeds, by our thoughts. We are only thinking about Krishna. That is devotee. So even we have no, we cannot have the audacity that actually Krishna will accept what we are offering him. Who are we? Am I really devotee? If I question myself, I will find so many holes. You know what I mean? There should be no holes. Like every single second should be thinking of Krishna. But there are large patches of time where I am not thinking of Krishna. So am I really be called a devotee? Can I be called? So how can I offer to Krishna? Therefore, we don't rely on our so-called status even though we are trying to cook for Krishna. We don't rely on our so-called devotional status. We put tulasi leaf. And we offer Prabhupāda's mantra, Guru's mantra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna mantra. So by Prabhupāda's mercy it will go. He is pure devotee. That much is a fact. I am not. So we offer through the spiritual master, not even directly to Krishna. Krishna says, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhakta state jana. He is not my devotee. Who is not my devotee? Who thinks he is my devotee? He is not my devotee. Mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas te me bhaktatamah mata. Who considers himself a devotee or a servant of my devotee, that is when I will consider him my devotee. So we have to become a servant of Prabhupada through Prabhupada. Prabhupada will offer to Krishna. So we offer to Prabhupada, through Prabhupada to Krishna. So without Guru, actually, we cannot offer to Krishna. We cannot be considered real devotees. Prabhupada is devotee and therefore Krishna will accept. And again, Tulsi leaf. Tulsi is very dear to Krishna. So even if our offering should be like, Krishna, I have cooked all these things, but for you, this is nothing. You are eating, Lakshmis are cooking for you, Radharani is cooking for you, there is no dearth. There is nothing for you, you are not obliged to accept this. But here is some Tulsi. So Tulsi Krishna will definitely accept. And because of Tulsi leaf, he will accept. So therefore, this is the mood in which it has to be offered. The feeling of devotion, that's all. So that only a devotee can have. That's why it is not prasadam, it cannot be offered. Any other questions? Good question actually. Thank you. So now you have to rise above that. Try to cook yourself. Simple. Nowadays YouTube videos are there, you can learn, simple stuff, and then it does not take much time. Or you can always come here.
Usually if we go around, sometimes we go to a restaurant and all that, we get food and we just offer pray, do a prayer and then offer to
So
you.
actually that one cannot be done. So now Anyway, this is how we grow. Once we don't know, then we will, in the association of devotees, then we will know how to do it. So then we want to do it, but we do not know which is right, how to do it right. So that's why we learn from devotees. Now you wanted to offer to Krishna, that is a good desire, see? But you do not know how to do it rightly. So now you learn a different thing today, a more higher principle. So that's how we advance. That's why we have to associate with devotees. If we don't, I'll keep thinking that I'm a devotee and I'm doing everything right, but I will never be corrected. So because you had the good desire, Krishna made the arrangement that you get this extra knowledge now, so that we advance even more towards him. See? There is some comment. Bhavagrahi Janardhan, at beginning level, sometimes when we are tired, a distraction though, we chant mechanically, bhava is not there. As you explained just now, that bhavagrahi, not phalagrahi or toyagrahi. So when I chant Hare Krishna mechanically, then will it be not like mechanical chanting grahi? Yeah, so that's why it is aparad, nam aparad. So in the beginning we will be chanting mechanically. Many times we don't have any bhav. So that's why we have to beg Krishna, please make me a devotee. So, but we cannot chant purely without actually chanting, at least starting to chant. So eventually we will become papakshayascha bhavatam what is that? Papakshayascha bhavati smaratam tam aharnisham. Papakshayascha bhavati smaratam tam aharnisham. Namaparadhayuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishranti prayuktani tanyevarthakarani cha. By repeated chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, eventually, and with attentive repeated chanting, that's when we become advanced in the. That's why we did Harinam Chintamani classes, series of that. It's alright, I think I'll stop here. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Nitāya Gaur Premanande.